the right of the council, by the will of the force. Welcome back to another episode of the Galaxy Famous Andor approved Jedi Talk Podcast.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another glorious episode of Jedi Talk. We are all back post-celebration nut clarity, what we're calling this episode. The full council is here. Evan unchained himself from the Nautilus, and we're back, baby. Let's get into this. Joining me to my left, who isn't really to my left because we're virtual, a man who I believe's birthday is tomorrow, and if I remember correctly, is going to Epic Universe in the morning. Tom Oakley.
By the right of the council, by the will of the force, my Bradleyus, you are correct. On both accounts.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Tomorrow is said birthday, so if you're listening to this, you're listening to it on a very royal day, go report Kyle Cosentino on Instagram for me. Thank you. And yes, I will be at Epic Universe tomorrow, so our next Jedi Talk next week, I will be able to talk all things epic. And Brad, I think you will have gone by then as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we go Monday. And my daughter is over here, so I got to whisper this. We're surprising them with a standstill, Luna.
Ooh, very sweet.
They have no idea. So we're doing it nice and proper. And I'm going. I cannot wait for you to go because you and me are like aligned when it comes to like theme park stuff for the most part. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to hear your thoughts.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna give them. I'm going tomorrow. Their hours are only 11 to 6, but I've checked the website. There's a website, and I'm so sorry I can't shout them out right now. But they've like to show the count of tickets sold each day, and they only allotted like 2,100 for tomorrow for APs. So
yeah, I'm
like, oh shit, that's. Like, hopefully that means there's not going to be a lot of people there, so I'm going to go.
Have you been paying attention to the wait times and everything?
Yes and no.
Dude, it's been so crazy. Like, we started tracking it last Monday just to see because we're going on a Monday.
Okay.
And we were just kind of waiting to see. Dude, it was a 10-minute wait for Mario Kart earlier. Monsters was 10.
Ooh.
Towards the evening, apparently, it really thins out.
Okay. Okay.
Well, we will be reporting back on that next week. But before we get into that, we have to introduce the last member of the council, fresh off a plane to Japan. He still smells like sushi. Evan T. Boucher. Evan, what the fuck's going on, buddy?
Adiga and good journey. That would explain why Taylor just can't stop sniffing when I'm around, I guess. I'm in the same room, and I guess that's why she just doesn't stop inhaling. So that checks out.
Wait a minute.
But, dude, I am...
That joke could have went a lot of directions. That's not the direction I thought it was going.
Well, I didn't want to take it too weird. I made it a little weird. I didn't want to make it too weird.
You know, Evan, you started. You might as well just finish. Knock it out of the park.
Well, it's too late for that. It's been butchered. But, yes, I am back. And when I unchained myself from the Nautilus, a little bit of it came with me. So, I got a piece, a chip of the ship.
Let's go. So, you got back today? Yesterday?
Last night at like 8 o'clock.
How's the jet lag?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it helped getting back here at night, so we just went to bed because it was like,
solid.
it's nighttime. We went to bed, but at the same time, we went to bed at like 10, and I slept till about noon. So, yeah, I'm good now. I'm awake, and here in like the next 2 or 3 hours, I'll go to bed again. So I kind of think the transition was well timed, but
nicely done.
If I had to work or something today, I would have been screwed.
So we haven't talked about this beforehand, so let's do this. I want to hear your complete thoughts about Disney Sea, but I would like to do it on a dedicated episode of like Epic Universe / Disney Sea talk. How does that sound?
Ooh, that's a great idea. Great idea.
Okay. Let's save obviously, if you have anything like that really stands out, please share with the class. But I want to hear more about Celebration.
I like that idea. That idea.
Cool.
Yeah,
I like that idea too. So next episode, we'll do Epic Universe talk and Disney Sea, because none of us have been to either one of these parks except Evan, who just got back from Sea. So I think it'd be fun to hear, thoughts with what seems to be like one of the greatest theme parks in the world, and then the newest greatest theme park in the world. I have not heard a single negative thing about Epic Universe, except for the fact that it's not very shaded.
Yeah, I was going to say no shade. Everybody said no shade, and I had heard no shade from the jump.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that week's time, I'll give my notebook time to dry off from all the tears that I shed when I
The
was
tears and
writing,
splooge.
yeah, writing notes when I was leaving.
yeah, I
So,
I want Evan like try to like come up with like a timeline essentially of like what you did each day and all that kind of stuff because I
oh,
really want to
I
do a
already
deep
got
dive.
that.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I was logging it away. I had a notebook with me the whole trip. I was
Bro,
logging everything.
he had a 14-hour
Awesome.
flight. You know, I don't know what
That's
you're
true.
Yeah,
you're expecting.
yeah, yep. And I've
All
already
right.
listened. Yeah, so
So let's dive into some celebration stuff. What was your this was your first experience in celebration? So give us the skinny here, Evan. Start from the beginning.
and I'm gonna preface this by saying I spoke to a lot of other celebration veterans who've been to multiple, and I don't just mean Taylor and I mean like some of our friends that I spoke to that were at the celebration said the same thing. So I'm not trying to come off as like I don't know a downer, but to me, it was kind of disappointing, and
Ooh.
they verified that. So like I don't know if it was just bad luck that I went to one that was kind of lackluster or what, but it was kind of disappointing. So I'm just right off the jump saying that.
You know what's
But
funny is I feel the same way, and I didn't even go
yeah,
because I kept like they started it off so strong with like a new movie, and I was like, oh shit, they're gonna start announcing stuff, and then
yeah.
that was just kind of it.
I think Friday was like the only day, and I didn't. I when I went to buy tickets, Friday was sold out, so I couldn't have even gone to Friday
Well,
if I wanted.
you went to the
So
high, yes, you could have Brad offer you his ticket.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Thank you. I was just about to say that.
well, no,
fuck.
when I booked the tickets, but after I
Oh,
had my tickets booked, I had the trip planned of we're doing this day,
got it.
this day.
Um,
So yeah,
I mean, you went to the highlight of day two, though. You were in the Ahsoka
I
panel
did. The
and
Ahsoka
got to see
panel
that footage.
was
Yeah,
that was awesome. That was great. The footage was cool and it was cute, but just seeing Dave and John and Hayden and Rosario, that was pretty awesome. That was
that
the
is
Can,
highlight
awesome.
can I
by
be honest
far.
about that panel? I
No,
didn't see the whole thing or anything. Shut up. I didn't see or hear the whole thing, but that seemed really lackluster to me.
I think in terms of stuff that they could have said it was, but they hadn't started filming yet. They're filming this week. So it's not
yeah,
like
I
So
they
was gonna
I,
say
had
like right now,
but like so
yeah.
then why do the panel?
because they didn't have anything else.
Well, it wasn't
That's a problem.
yeah. And it also wasn't titled like Ahsoka season 2. Like it wasn't supposed to be about season 2. It was them kind of saying, "Here's what we did with season 1.
Oh,
Surprise,
interesting.
here's Hayden frickin' Christensen." Like,
Yeah, but they did that panel exactly when I was there last time, like this same panel.
ah. Well, I didn't get to see it last time.
Yeah,
So,
it felt from my point of view, as being here seeing it, it felt like they just redid the shit. They brought Hayden out, they brought Rosario Dawson out. And, hey, we're doing the show. Let's go.
I
And then it was
yeah.
just like nothing.
I remember Dave
That's fair.
saying, I don't know if it was at the panel or if he was on stage at Celebration Live, which I have a hot take about that host, and I don't know if I say this if I'll get shit on, but I think he sucks. But Filoni was like, "You guys want more Chopper? There's going to be more Chopper. You know, Harris coming back." I can't remember if that was the panel or on the live stage, but I felt like that was like the only substance of it. To Brad's point.
It was the live stage
Okay.
because I watched the clip. They clipped that out.
Okay. Okay.
But there was, I
And yeah,
mean,
Andy sucks.
All right. So maybe not a hot take, but I just be like, "Come on, host better." like, I
I
get
mean,
the.
there was like a few takeaways from that Ahsoka panel. Nothing huge, like, groundbreaking or anything, but like they did say a couple things. And off the top of my head, like I said, they're not massive things, so I don't remember them. But I did like shoot them in the group when it happened. And other people also like posted like, "Oh, there's gonna be loft kittens and stuff." It's
Oh
like, okay,
yeah.
that's cute, but there's a couple other things. But
Yeah.
let's see, Anakin's confirmed that he's coming into season 2.
They kind of figured.
Yeah, we assumed that. Filoni teased that there's a space battle between Akbar and Thrawn, and he even like name
That's
dropped
dope.
the ship Home One. So like that's cool.
Oh.
I
And
didn't see that.
then
That's a cool little tease.
yeah, and then we got to look at the new actor playing Balin, like in costume.
Right.
Was
I
that
assume that
public?
was
Because
his like
I
costume.
didn't see that.
Those were all leaked.
Yeah, somebody leaked it. Even
Did
though
it look
multiple
good?
times they were like,
Yeah, it did.
don't, no pictures, no videos, no pictures, multiple times.
Brad,
Did they
I will find it for you.
did they like recast him someone that looks like him, or are they kind of going in a different direction?
He looks like him a little bit, but it was more off of like vibe, if you know what I mean. And
Gotcha.
this guy is Ray Stevenson's friend too. Like,
That's cool.
Yeah, they know each other. So
that's awesome. Well,
but
that's kind of keeping it in the family is cool.
Yeah, he
I
pulls
like
off
that.
the look. He pulls off the look, and from what everything they said, he's gonna do great. And like Dave Filoni was like crying when he was talking about losing Ray.
Oh,
So and
that's so sad.
that had all of
sucks,
us
man.
crying. Like it was rough.
I know I've talked about this a few times, but I always forget that he was the Punisher in Punisher Warzone.
I did not know that today. I learned.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless
He's
we've talked
him,
about
and
that before.
he's in a episode. He's in a season of Dexter as a cool villain too.
Oh, very cool. Oh yeah.
It's such a bummer he's gone, man.
What a
bummer.
Brett, I just texted you the picture
huge
Evan was
bummer.
talking
Oh, sweet.
about.
Okay. Let me see. I want to get you guys get my live reaction here. Let me see. This is a reaction video now.
Only here on Jedi Talk do you get
interesting.
an
Yeah, he
unexplained
kinda does
direction
look like
in
him.
this.
He's a little thinner, maybe, but like
Yeah, he definitely is.
I dig the look. I'm
Yeah.
excited for it.
I think it looks good.
Mhm.
Yeah. He gives me like this guy could play like a young Count Dooku.
yeah,
Sure.
I could see that. Yeah. But Dave
Too
also
late
was
now.
Dave also was kind of mentioning he's like that Balin was such a huge part of season 1 and equally season 2 that they couldn't change what they were doing and they didn't want to. And he said they even spoke with like Ray's family too to make sure it was okay to do what they were doing, and the family wanted them to do it. So he said season 2 is like unchanged in terms of Balin's story.
Well, that's great. At least we're not running into a Rise of Skywalker situation.
Yeah.
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 Oh boy.
And I mean, I don't know if Brad would want this or not, but they also did say that like the Mortis gods are.
Can y'all hear me? Are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know if you would be happy with this or not, but Dave also did say the Mortis gods do play a part in season 2.
I cut out there for a second. But that's good. I'm glad that they didn't change anything. That at least we're not running into like a Rise of Skywalker situation here where they're having to redo a bunch of shit.
Yes. 1000% right. And I'm glad. This is tough at first, but I think they made the right choice. So
yeah, and the casting looks good. We'll see. I mean, he's such a good actor. That's what's going to be. It's not hard to look like the character. It's going to be hard to capture that character's essence. We'll see.
Yeah.
What else from that panel, Evan?
I think it was Dave mainly, but Dave was mentioning how like the Mortis gods will play a part in season 2. I don't know if that means.
God.
Yeah, I love the Mortis gods, so I'm all for it. But I don't know if that means like physically the gods walking around talking to people or what he means by it. But he said they will be involved.
Ahsoka will get like knocked out or something, and then she'll have that experience, and then she'll bring it. She'll crash a plane or something. You'll think she's dying, and then she'll have a conversation with the Mortis gods, and then she'll come back to life. That's exactly what it's going to be.
I have a prediction.
Me too. I think Hayden is the father now.
Boom! Right there. That's exactly it. She's already had
Anakin Hayden. Yeah.
Yep. That's 1,000% it. And he'll force ghost himself to her or show himself however he wants to that way.
That will have some pretty crazy repercussions in canon. Yeah. If they do that.
No.
Not really. I mean, he's Star Wars Jesus, so that fits. I mean, he is, right?
Yeah, but he dies as Vader, and the galaxy knows.
No, he dies as Anakin.
He dies as Anakin.
He dies as Anakin, but the galaxy knows him as Vader. Like
True,
that's why everyone flipped out in Bloodlines.
Oh, sure.
Doesn't matter.
The Senate.
Doesn't matter what the galaxy thinks.
The galaxy doesn't know the Mortis gods exist.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
The Mortis gods exist kind of only in the Force in a way.
I'll probably fast forward through those things. They won't be canon to me. I hate that whole thing. I know I'm in the minority with that. I know you guys love it. I just don't care for it.
Yeah, and I get it.
It's like one step too far for me. It's like okay,
I get it.
I get it.
And it is kind of like Marvel goofy almost, but not quite.
There was something that was one step too. There was something that was one step too far for me in Andor episodes 1 through 3.
Seriously?
Yeah, they were brilliant, but there was one thing that I personally do not like that's in Star Wars now.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it in episode 3?
Yes.
Okay. When we get to Andor,
it gets hinted at in episode 2, and when it got hinted at, I'm like, God damn it! Don't go this way. So it's
no.
It is a legit personal choice of mine.
Okay.
And it's a way that Gilroy and company are telling a story, and I respect it. But it's just like I just personally don't like seeing this stuff in media. So it's like I wish they wouldn't have done it, but it's such an important, like, it shows how scummy the Imperial like lieutenants are. So
something gross.
When we get to it, we'll get to it. Yeah.
With Bix, I imagine, right?
Yes, it is Bix.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I have not watched any of this yet because my dumbass tried last night at midnight to get a Switch 2. And I tried on Target, I tried on Best Buy, I tried on Walmart, nothing. All the websites crashed completely. Wow. And I'm sitting there going, dude, I wish I was doing a video on it. Like, it was chaos, dude. And so, like, I'm standing there at 12:30 and, like, I'm just waiting for, like, Walmart to go. And then I'm watching a YouTuber who's, like, streaming him trying to do it.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I just got a notification that it's sold out at Target, Best Buy, and Walmart. They're all completely sold out nationwide.
Fuck.
And I was saying that, and I was like, well, fuck. Like, me and Bentley were sitting there trying to get one. He was really invested and wants one. He loves Mario Kart. And it's so, like, the Switch comes with Mario Kart and you get the bundle. And he's like, well, I guess we don't get one. And I was like, oh, fuck no, I'm your dad. We're getting one. And so I pulled up to GameStop at 12:46 and I stood in line for 13 hours. GameStop opened opens at noon here. And I stood in line from like 12:45 until I didn't leave till like 1:30.
Wow.
Jesus,
today. So I have
Dad of the Year there. You win Dad of the Year.
And I got one. I got the Mario Kart bundle, and and I'm fucking exhausted. So that's why I haven't watched Andor yet. I told Tom I was going to start watching it last night, and I was under the assumption of like just going to pre-order the shit, sitting here in my house, and then I'll put on Andor after I'm done. Nope. So that's why I am excited for Andor season 2. I am not avoiding this. I just want everyone to know why I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, that's fair.
Goddamn Nintendo.
Well, that's pretty. Jesus Christ!
You know what's even crazier, dude? I have been paying attention to the Switch 2 shit for a while now because I've just been so curious about it.
You have.
So Nintendo came out yesterday and apologized in advance. So they had a internal thing where you could sign up to win a lottery, and they had 200,000 units they had set aside.
Yeah.
They in Japan alone had 2.2 million people apply.
Jesus.
Wow.
They are so underprepared for how popular the Switch 2 is going to be.
Wow.
This is not a Nintendo podcast, but I just wanted people to know why I haven't watched Andor yet.
We're nerds. That's all right. People listening to this are nerds. I think this shit crosses.
Oh, by the way, there's a guy, Tom knows already, but I just want to say this again. There's a guy that I met in line who had a Metallica tattoo. He's going to be at the Tampa show, and I will see him the night before because the Tampa show is like what, June 6th, 7th?
6th and 8th.
6th and 8th. So the Switch comes out on the 5th. I'm going to see him there, and we're going to hang out at the Metallica show.
There you go. Hello to new listener.
Loves your tattoos.
Thank you. I love them too.
So it's a fun day. It's so funny how like nerdiness just kind of permeates all things. Like it just kind of everyone's a nerd about everything nowadays. I love it.
It's the truth. Yeah.
But I got one of the very few Switch 2s. I'm excited.
There you go. Brad took a poo with a Switch 2. So
I did. There was a homeless guy that almost got tased by the police and was threatening to rob people in line. It was an adventure. It was a really fun time.
Which GameStop were you at?
The one in Claremont next to Kagan Crossing.
Okay, I don't know where that's at. I'll take your word for it.
Down 27.
Okay.
It's a place I will avoid if that's the case.
Yeah, dude. Dude was just walking around going, I could rob all you right now.
It was a sleep deprived Evan saying, "Give me the Nautilus." He's like stabbing
probably
people.
Was. I did sleepwalk last night, so it's probably made it.
We also watched this man dig tacos out of the trash can and eat tacos out of the trash can. So it was a really fun experience. It was a good 13 hours. It was a lot of fun.
I'm glad that you said out of the trash can and not out of another homeless man's behind. So, I thought you were going.
No, it was just the one homeless guy. And
just
he was
the nuts. One. All right, we were getting to something. Evan, celebration.
Yeah, we were still talking about Ahsoka and whatnot, but another kind of thing with the gods could be maybe Ahsoka's the sister or the daughter, I guess they call her. Maybe Anakin in season 2 is offering her that role. Yeah, because she's dead. The father's dead, and it's like I guess the son is still out there. He never really died.
Can I ask a canon question that I just don't know the answer to, and I don't know if you guys do either? Is she dead is Ahsoka dead by the time that Episode 9 rolls out?
Well,
as far as we know, no.
But
okay,
well, hold on.
What if she? What if
we
she
hear her voice?
Yep, we hear her voice, and it's all dead Jedi that we hear, right?
Yes.
So,
right?
What if she's reaching out to Rey as the daughter?
That would make total sense and be awesome.
I'm here for it. I changed my mind. I'm all in on the Mortis gods now. That's all it took.
Like, if it's handled right and done right, it's gonna be great. And like, I trust Dave. Dave made the Mortis gods. So, like, he's not gonna ruin his own thing. I trust him.
He made Purgles work in live action. I trust this man implicitly.
Really did.
Yeah.
I trust him implicitly.
Yeah. So I'm excited for season 2. It looks pretty dope.
I mean, they're kind of tipping this, right? And maybe we're just idiots and realizing this now, but we got Ahsoka the White. I mean, gods are normally bright white, dressed in white, right? Like when you present yourself. So I think they're kind of saying like,
yes, gods are normally white. Yes.
Clothing.
Oh, clothing. Sorry, that's not what I thought you meant.
Yes, clothing. I'm sorry. Clothing.
Greek gods they're white. You know what I'm saying? Greeks are white.
Yeah, and the Greek gods are mostly terrible beings. If you know Greek mythology. But
this is just jokes, people. I'm delirious. I'm sorry.
We all are at this point. Delirious from one of us is currently moving, so he's probably delirious from moving. One of us is delirious from coming back from Japan. The other one's delirious from digging tacos out of a trash can.
You know what's nuts? I stood in line almost as long as your flight was.
Yeah, seriously, that's insane.
Fucking insane. How were those flights, by the way?
They weren't bad at all. The one from Washington D.C. to Japan was the worst one, obviously, because it was the longest. But it was still not.
Why
horrible.
did you not go L.A. to Japan?
I'm not the pilot. I'm not the people that
but you don't want to book the flight.
Because that one was the cheapest flight. That's why I booked that one.
Oh, well, that explains everything. He's the Kyle Costantino of this podcast.
He is.
Yeah.
That is the worst thing anyone's ever said to me.
Okay, I take it back.
I am.
We've said worse.
We have.
I'm under 6 foot, not under 5 foot.
Hey, you're a short bitch. I loved the route because I was being a nerd and watching your flights on Flight 24. The route you took to Japan through Canada, and then like you basically glanced Russia and just kind of like went right down.
It was cool too. Like we flew United. I don't know if other planes and those companies do it, but they had a TV where you could watch the flight too on the TV. So every now and then I would stop whatever I was watching. And,
most flights that aren't Southwest and below do that. You know.
Yeah.
Welcome to the upper echelon airlines. Yeah. No, I don't think Spirit can make it across the ocean. It would drop in the Bermuda Triangle.
I wouldn't trust it. No. So that was fun to watch too. I didn't watch the entire flight path, but it was cool. The flights weren't bad. I mean, I slept for a couple hours both times, read for a little bit, watched a couple movies.
I can't sleep
plenty
on
of stuff
planes.
to keep me entertained.
Yeah.
I can't sleep on planes either. I'm the worst person to fly with. It's awful. I suck. I've gotten better, but I hate it. That was one of the things I was concerned about when we were planning initially to go to Japan.
Oh, sure.
Was that I was just like, man, fuck, I don't know if I can do it. But like,
it's also
the older
worth it.
the older I get, the more I realize like the time's gonna pass anyway.
Yeah.
And like, so you can just do the thing that you're supposed to do or like you need to do, and then you'll be happy you did it. Like today with the Switch.
That's true.
Or you can look back and go, fuck, I wish I'd have done it. And time's gonna pass 100%. Either way.
Yeah. Yep. And it's worth it. Like waiting that 13 hours for the Switch is going to be worth it. Flying 13 hours to Japan was more than worth it.
Especially now, dude. If you can go on eBay and people are reselling their pre-orders. Remember, the console's not out yet. They're just reselling the pre-order for like $2,000.
Oh,
Jesus, tap dancing Christ.
So
sorry, who I offended.
It was completely worth it. It was completely worth it.
Oh yeah.
Good for you. Nice job. So,
thank you, sir.
Did you pre-order it today there, or did you walk away with one?
No, pre-order. It comes out June 5th.
Got it. Okay.
So on June 4th, we're all going to be there. Like the Metallica guy, we're all coming back. Like we all made friends. You know how lines are. We all made friends.
I do. Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't like to do that. I was reluctant to do. I just don't like to talk to people when I'm in line, so I'm just annoyed as shit.
Sure.
But everyone was so cool, and so we're all getting back together to go in on the 4th and pick them up.
All right.
We're gonna. I'll have my Switch 2 while I'm sitting in the stands at Metallica.
So nobody pooped in line.
Nobody pooped. Well, the homeless guy might have. I don't fucking know.
True. True. Yeah.
But it was interesting.
Did anybody poop in any of the lines at the parks you were at, Evan? And you can give us detail on that next show. But
yeah, no, quite the opposite. But we'll talk about that next show.
Okay.
But
sweet.
I kind of solved one minor complaint I had with like the Ahsoka panel earlier when I mentioned it wasn't the Ahsoka season 2 panel because I left and they didn't give us a poster, and I was like, oh, we don't even get posters this celebration. But it wasn't season 2. It was about season 1. So I get that makes total sense why we didn't get a poster walking out.
But I just don't know why you need 2 panels for season 1, 2 years apart.
That's fair, and you answered that totally too, and I agree. It's just by saying they didn't have anything else to announce.
Mm-hmm.
They did all the big stuff on Friday, and that was it.
You could have done a big panel instead of this lazy ass panel. And I'm sure. And here's the thing: panels in person, it feels completely different.
Right.
And I fully know that. I've been to celebrations. I totally understand. But from the outside, it was like, hey, who's excited for this thing we haven't started yet? Woo!
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Remember when we were here 2 years ago? We did the same shit. We have nothing we can talk. And even then, they had like started filming and showed us some footage. And they had been filming for like 10 days. And I never saw that footage in any of the show. So I wonder what happened with that. It could just be like a promo shoot or something. But yeah, it just, I don't know. It just seemed dumb to do it. When you could have done like a future of Lucasfilm panel, and even if there wasn't a ton, you could have done something. Like you could have instead of having a Ahsoka panel, you literally could have done the future of Lucasfilm, announced the Ryan Gosling thing at that panel, and talk about season 2 of Ahsoka and talk about Andor season 2. And then I think you would have had a better panel.
And that would have spread out the big stuff because the Ryan Gosling was on Friday. Like, I get it. Friday is your opening day. You need big stuff. But, like, you should do one thing on Saturday then and maybe one thing on Sunday.
But that's what they normally do. But they just don't have anything going right now.
So they just front-loaded Friday. And Friday...
Yeah, so here, for perspective on this, when I did my very first celebration here in Orlando, the Friday panel was the 40 years of Star Wars panel. That's when and then the next day was The Last Jedi. And then, no, Mandalorian was the next one. And then the day after that, the big quote unquote panel was the Disney park stuff, like the history of Star Tours and the future of Lucasfilm and the parks.
Yeah, that's a pretty evenly balanced diet, I think.
Especially for being in Orlando.
Menu, yeah. But I don't know, the stuff they announced on Friday, I wasn't in the building for, but that's sick announcements. Like we hinted before the celebration even happened that there's going to be another animation project announced.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
Darth Maul animated projects. Like, come on, yeah.
Brad,
that's a pretty big announcement.
Our Instagram algorithm has not forgotten about that.
Good.
Yeah.
How many views is it up to?
Yeah, let me tell you. So that reel that we made, 69
that you made.
Yes, all right. 69,052 views. Nice.
It's one away from being 69,420. It's 100 less.
We're going to get there.
We're going to get there. We'll get there.
69,52. Yeah. We're almost there. We got a few to go.
You can just hit refresh when you start seeing it get up to 420.
Yep, I will. I got you. 69,420 will happen. So
track it till it gets there.
But the reason why I made that reel / meme was because all I heard from Celebration was Maul. Nobody was like, okay, we know Mando and Grogu's coming, and I thought that footage, the leaked footage, was fantastic. It looked really good. I was happy with it. But
I didn't see it.
I sent it to you. Either.
Did you?
I sent the screen. Yeah, I sent you the screen recording.
Oh no, I did see that. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I did see that.
Evan, did you not see it?
Was it in the group chat?
No, I can.
Then no.
All right, I can guide you into the Force in that direction.
Right.
But can you send it? Can you send it to the group chat just so I can rewatch it again?
Yeah.
I remember seeing it, but I don't remember like specifics. I remember the AT-AT.
Yes. And then
I remember that.
I remember Zeb. Spoiler alert. Zeb was in it. So anyway. Oh, and then at the end, Rada the Hutt. All jacked up.
Oh, I think that was in the group chat then, because I do remember seeing Rada.
Okay.
And Zeb, and then there was like somebody in the background of a shot, and we were like, "Oh, is it this character?" I forget what it was, but it was like an alien. And we're like, "Could it be this species or this person?"
Oh, I don't know.
But yeah, I remember seeing it.
Sigourney Weaver was featured a lot in the trailer. She's like an X-wing pilot. Yeah.
Cool.
Dude, what great casting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
The original badass. Not original, because what was Alien? 77? So not original female badass, but close. One of the OGs.
Oh, yeah, one of the pioneers, right?
One of the OGs of that. She's such a fucking gangster. I love Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, great role for her. I'm excited.
I miss her dumb animatronic.
Yeah. It lives on through Finn on Rise. I don't think that's literally true, but Finn kind of is in the same pose.
I think it
That's
is.
true.
Yeah, it
I
could
think
be.
it is there.
It's just like an
Yeah.
homage to.
That clothes around the same time.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we said Celebration was lackluster. The post-nut Celebration clarity was like, eh.
Had
Yeah.
such FOMO though.
They can't. 2027. Brad and I were talking about this. Is 50 years, right? A New Hope came out in 77, right? You can't miss that one. Like literally, like Disney can't miss it, and then fans, you should really be on top of that.
I am without question going. Like, it's not up for debate. It's not a Japan situation where life events will, part of the reason we didn't go to Japan is just there's, the stuff that's some personal stuff that's going on in our family over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And we just didn't want to be out of the country if something bad happened.
Right.
And, hindsight's 2020, we would have been okay. But like, you just never know when it's real time.
Well, and like the rest of Japan isn't going anywhere, but Celebration is. It's coming to you at some time, So like, you're fine.
They just
LA
were
is a
issued
good
a
call.
major, like earthquake warning not that long ago. The next 30 years, 80% chance of happening. So Japan might be going somewhere, but
Ooh, let's hope not.
yeah, let's hope
But
that is right. I hope people have warning and get out of there if something catastrophic happens.
Yeah. But I don't know. We posted, let's all commit to going, and then who's not going to go? I don't know if I'm going to commit to going because like this one was just that lackluster. I'm like, eh.
Yeah,
That's
but
fair.
it's a weird year for them. I was, but when they canceled that 10 years of the Force Awakens panel, I was like,
True.
I mean, really just don't
Yeah.
have much going on.
That would have made Sunday better, seeing Oscar
Yeah.
Isaac and them talk about The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And like I said a couple weeks ago, I blame Marvel for that, even though I don't know if it's Marvel's fault. I'm gonna
Love
blame
that
Marvel.
movie or not, you can't deny that era was so much fun as a fan to look forward to.
And how important that movie was. Like, even like you said, love it or not, we don't get any more Star Wars if we don't get that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or if it flops and like doesn't do well. It's like, well,
Yeah.
do they keep making movies then if it sucks and doesn't make money? No, probably not. So we love it. We love The Force Awakens. But
It's
love it
so
or not.
fun. It's such a fun movie.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a Star Wars movie in probably a year, and I need to go watch The Force
I
Awakens.
just
love
watched Rogue One before Andor. So
Oh, that's
nice.
a good idea.
Good call.
Yeah.
Good
Really
call.
good idea. Yeah. But like even like I don't know. Overall, the convention center they picked too might have had a part in it because it was tiny. Like
Oh yeah, I can
Oh.
see that. It looks small.
it was ridiculously small.
Yeah.
Like Orlando's is like maybe twice as big. So I don't know
Orlando's
why.
Convention Center is fucking huge. The Anaheim
Yeah.
Convention Center is huge too.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I also think too you may have just had way too high expectations.
Maybe. And I also a couple days before going to Celebration was at the parks, and the parks blew me away. So it was like,
Did you
nothing
do any?
to top
Did you
that.
do anything that wasn't in the parks? Did you like go explore Tokyo at all?
Not enough, but we did. Yeah, we did. We didn't get to do half the things we wanted, but we got out and we saw like half the city probably, and
That's
spent
cool.
countless hours being lost on the trains.
the fact that you made it back, Evan, I believe you should get a medal or something.
But it also should go to
You
show
have
that if
no
Evan
idea.
can do it, anyone can do it.
Right. Yeah.
It's a very low bar.
But like too, even like if you look at pictures and videos from past celebrations, like one of the iconic thing that everybody takes a picture in front of or with is that giant full-scale TIE fighter, right? Like you've all seen those pictures or seen the actual ship.
I've been there. Yep.
Guess what wasn't there?
I probably couldn't fit.
Yeah, probably couldn't fit. So I didn't even.
Yeah.
I was so hyped to just see.
I never
a TIE
had that
fighter.
problem with somebody's mom.
Oh,
Hey-o.
but like the TIE fighter wasn't even there. All of the shops and stuff that normally have cool displays didn't have like displays. I don't know. It was. I think
Well,
it was.
dude, I think
What the
part of it is
fuck?
just like the cost to ship. Well, think about how much it would cost to ship that fucking TIE fighter to Japan.
Fucking
Just fly it. What are you talking about?
We didn't just fly it.
Just
You mean
fly
fly the actual TIE fighter?
Yeah.
Hey, Evan. I don't know if you know this, but it's not real.
How do you know?
No,
Have you ever seen it be not real?
it's
yes.
true. Schrodinger's cat. It's real and not real until I see otherwise.
Exactly. But and like a lot of it was probably that, like you said, it was too expensive for all these people to ship all their things there, and a lot of it was a size constraint because it was a tiny ass convention center.
That sucks. The vibe of this one felt like the worst celebration since the one in London when they announced that Thrawn was coming back. When that was
Yeah.
like the only announcement.
Oh,
But like this one
ago.
ranks higher technically for like they announced a new fucking Star Wars movie with Ryan Gosling. That is a huge announcement.
Do you think it's going to happen?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so, but
I don't think Ryan Gosling signs on. You don't get a star like Ryan Gosling and then fucking squander that.
it wasn't even there, right? He was there on Friday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, like if they got him to actually come there and stuff, I'm sure it's gonna happen.
I hope so.
I think so. I don't think if you fumble that, to be fair, they fumbled Guillermo del Toro doing a Haunted Mansion movie. So, which is still a fucking crime.
That company fumbles a lot of stuff. So
they fumbled that hard. That's the biggest miss for me. Is that because he is perfect to make a creepy Haunted Mansion movie.
Yeah, well,
I love him.
Then you should marry him.
I will. I would.
Okay.
Hey, I would. Tom, I would.
All right.
You know?
Yeah. I think you should.
Shut the fuck up, man.
I will. We're talking about Celebration. What else from Celebration? I'll bring this up because I'm a big Outlaws guy. We got the trailer for A Pirate's Fortune featuring Hondo and Jim Cummings' facial recognition for Hondo, which we've talked about at length.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that's coming out May 15th, so that's truthfully right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
I think Star Wars was like, hey, Ubisoft, can you wait to drop this trailer?
Yeah.
Save it for Celebration.
Because that really should have been dropped maybe a month or two ago.
You would think.
Like that.
You
so
would
they were
think.
like, hey,
Yeah,
wait for Celebration. Yeah. So we have something. That's a good point.
I'm buying that game for the Switch today. I am so excited to play Outlaws. I didn't have a next-gen console, and now I have one pre-ordered.
There you go.
I am so excited.
There you go.
To fucking play that game, dude.
I am like realizing things about this game every little chance I get to play it, and I feel so stupid for missing this when I met him the first time. And I don't know if you guys know this, but there is a merchant on Akiva who helps you with your speeder, and there's a story with him. His name is Temin Wexley. I looked into his bio.
Yep.
Snap Wexley's?
Yep.
It is Snap Wexley.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yes. It went over my head at first because I saw Wexley. I'm like, that's probably just like a common name or something.
I think you even see Bones. Don't you see Bones too?
Probably. I'd have to go
Mr.
back.
Bones, whatever. Yeah.
So you can go back and visit him on Akiva because he's a merchant now, and that's where he grew up. That's his home planet according to the bio. Because I went back and read it, I'm like, hey, wait a second, like
that's so cool.
And then looked it up, I'm like, holy shit, that's fucking Snap Wexley. It's like nice.
Coincidentally, I was watching Austin play Outlaws for like an hour or two one day, and he played across that same point you're talking about, and Austin didn't realize it. They said the name Temin, and I was like, whoa, like Temin Wexley?
Yeah, I'm an
Austin
idiot.
Pulled up the bio.
Yeah,
he pulled up the bio, and I was like, holy, it's Snap. It's Snap Wexley.
Sure is.
They just hit him in the game, and no one's talking about it.
I know. It's because everyone's afraid to play as a girl in Star Wars. They're fucking idiots. Yet Lara Croft revolutionized the 90s. Stop.
They're not afraid to play as her because they like those pointy triangles.
Yeah, well, I was about to say they don't mind it when you can put a cheat code to remove the clothes and see those titties.
I don't think that was ever a thing.
It wasn't. They've said it's not.
Yeah,
that was always a rumor.
Bunch of horny fucking losers thinking that shit existed.
We were a bunch of horny fucking losers.
Anything else on Celebration, Evan? And then I'm gonna yell about Andor and how great it is.
I don't know. I got to see Anthony Daniels on stage too, so that was cool.
That's cool.
Watching Anthony Daniels.
Those small things at Celebration make such a big difference.
Yeah, that helped because it was like there was nothing else going on, and then all of a sudden they announced him walking out on that like main platform in the middle, and I was like, all right, I'm doing nothing. Let me watch this. So that was cool seeing him.
They had so much awkward in between on that live stream. Like and I know when you're there, it's different, and they're getting people back and forth. But it's like it feels like they don't know what they're doing, and then it
was awkward there too.
Oh, it feels thrown together.
And they spend like 40 minutes with the sushi chef who's just like with that droid off in the corner, and he's like giving people something as they walk away, and I was like so confused. Like I remember trying so hard to stay up for night 2, and I'm just like, none of this interests me. I'm just like after.
I mean, even there, they just like tell you like, all right, keep clapping, keep the yelling, keep energy, and it's like, what are you doing? Like,
you
we're
got a bunch of
Star Wars
neurodivergence in a fucking room. Like, back the fuck off.
Yeah, I don't know. It was definitely awkward being there too. So it comes off awkward on camera, and just sitting there watching them be awkward is awkward.
I wonder how much of that shit with the awkwardness this year was just like language barriers and shit. Because like people who work there probably aren't speaking English.
As you know, like yellow shirts or whatever they call them at Celebration. Just like the volunteers.
I mean, I'm sure they hire locally. I would assume so.
Oh yeah,
they were, and they had the ones that could speak English had like badges that said they were English speaking people.
Oh,
too.
cool.
But they were all locals that were like manning the convention.
It makes most sense. I kind of know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They should. I mean, that's what they do for conventions here. So.
Uh-huh.
So Evan might not go to L.A. I'm glad it's domestic. I wish it were on this coast, but that's all right.
Gives me an excuse to take my kids to Disneyland for the first time.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I'm all in for.
Right.
The interesting thing was it wasn't Anaheim.
Yeah, it was
Los
LA.
Angeles. I know. It's so weird.
Angeles. Yeah. That's all right. I mean, is this the first time it's ever been in LA?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, probably not. LA's a big enough of a city.
I feel like it said it's returning to LA. That's the only reason I say that.
Okay.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know why you just didn't do Anaheim.
More space in LA, maybe like a bigger convention center by chance.
I know Anaheim's huge, dude.
I know.
Well, it might just be because the Chinese theater is in LA, so they're trying to draw that connection, being like 50 years ago in the Chinese theater.
That was my guess, and that was my pitch to Brad too when I was telling him.
It's like the actors and stuff all live there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it, but but the people that live there, you could pay them to drive an hour to Anaheim.
Yeah.
Like it's not far. Anaheim is not far from LA.
You've already done Anaheim like 5 times, so you know what
That's
you're doing.
true.
Like
they're all going to take their.
Well, maybe that's why. Maybe like let's just do something a little different. Keep it in California, but do something a little different.
Yeah, good point.
I'm going. Like I don't know how Tom, Evan feel about it. I mean, we're still 2 years out, but I am very excited.
2 years out from it happening, but less than 2 years from buying the ticket. That's the key.
That's true. But like not far. I mean, like what you bought it 6 months in advance? It's still a year and a half out. I mean, like there's plenty of time.
Yeah.
I also wouldn't judge Celebration off this, man. I mean, like
I'm trying not to.
You're like everybody said it sucked. I was hearing that it was a fucking mess the entire time.
Yeah.
I was going on Twitter and like hitting C translate with all this Japanese shit. They're like, this is a fucking unorganized mess. And I'm like, welcome to ReedPop. That's what they do.
Yep,
and now you see why I was shitting on them so hard at the Anaheim one, because it was a mess, dude. Like it was a mess. It was a mess. And it's like all this technology that you were putting into these conventions, it's like it's making it harder, not easier.
Yep. And to go off of like the size of the convention center too, they sold, at least it felt like they sold the same amount of tickets as they normally would.
Oh, that's crazy.
In a smaller building. So imagine packing the same amount of people you put in Orlando in a building half the size.
That's insane.
That's insane. It was bad. So seeing Anthony Daniels was awesome. The Ahsoka panel was awesome. But as a whole, I was very disappointed.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's fair. I mean, you also went to the worst days.
True. But like we said, they could have spaced it out.
Now you know.
Yeah, but they could have also spaced it out better, like you said, where there's one announcement every day.
That's true.
Totally. That's what they should be doing. And people are paying to, fly across the fucking world to go see this shit. You should at least hook them up with some cool shit.
Well,
but like you said, it's an excuse to take the kids out to Disneyland for the first time. This was my excuse to pull the trigger on going to Japan finally, because I've always wanted to go to Tokyo, Japan, Disney Japan, but now I finally pulled the trigger and did it.
I can't wait to hear you talk about it, and I'm actually going to just wait for the show because I want to hear your actual thoughts.
Oh yeah,
I don't want to hear it. We haven't talked much. since you've been gone.
Really,
so.
not too much. Yeah, it just outside of the things you've shared, right? Right. That's pretty much all we've kind of chatted. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
And you picked an maybe interesting, but like a difficult first celebration to go to because of the travel and just the nature of everything involved, right? So,
so here's what I want to know: if you went to that same exact convention and it was down the street, would you have felt disappointed?
Probably, but to a lesser extent, I imagine, because like you guys just said, the travel and stuff probably played into it. But still, if I paid that much money and got there and was like, okay, I saw my panel, now what do I do for the rest of the day? Oh, nothing? All right, I wasted my money, I guess.
Yeah.
Did you do any of the show floor stuff? I could spend 4 days walking the floor at any given celebration.
This one, you could spend 4 minutes walking the floor. They were, like
Holy
I said,
shit.
there was nothing.
Smaller than MegaCons?
That's crazy.
Yeah, and the costume rules too didn't help. I only saw like 5 cool costumes like that I was like blown away by.
Did you see the Droideka?
So did they change the rules?
They made it a little bit tighter, and they also said like you have to change at the convention center because you can't wear your costume in public.
That's a Japan law. Yeah, hold on. Do you know why? Somebody, I believe, and I'm not, I don't know the perfect details, but I think somebody went like dressed as the Joker on a subway in Japan and were like was stabbing people. So it's like you can't cosplay in the public anymore.
Yeah. They like cosplay and they're all for it, just not public.
That's you think that would be like the fucking mecca of cosplay.
I know.
That's crazy.
And it normally
one idiot ruins everything for us.
Wow. I did not know that. That is insane.
So a lot of people that normally
imagine getting stabbed to death by the Japanese Joker.
Yeah. So a lot of people that usually have amazing, incredible costumes didn't even bother taking them because they're like, I can't carry this around the city into the convention center and then change. Like,
yeah,
that too. But also, like those things are like 3 or 4 suitcases. So doing that shit across the world,
that's just not going to do it.
It's a lot.
Wow.
Yep.
All right,
man. I'm bummed to hear you were a little bummed by it, but like I'm also not shocked because it seemed like a light year.
Yeah,
and that's just how it goes. Like it's just. When you have a every 2-year convention, I mean, shit like that's going to happen, you know?
Yep. And like logically, now I've talked to you two about it and the other people at the convention, it does make sense, right? This is just one off year. It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and in that you hear Brad's FOMO fading away of not going to Japan. So all right, so yeah, thanks for those thoughts. It was hype to watch at first, and then everything just kind of died down. But enjoyed the conversation here and everything from everybody. One thing I have absolutely enjoyed, and that's Matomika over here. I have enjoyed Andor, and I absolutely, of course, enjoyed episodes 1 through 3 of season 2. I believe I'm the only one of the 3 of us who have seen all 3. Evan, correct me if I'm wrong. You've seen episodes 1 and 2 thus far, correct?
Yeah, correct. I'm like right in the middle of you and Brad. Like I've seen, I guess a little past the middle because I've seen 1 and 2.
Yeah. So I've seen all 3. Evan 1 and 2. Brad's none. You know, you heard his Switch 2 debacle earlier, so understood. But he could have watched them in line. So here we are.
No,
you don't want to watch it on your phone.
I know. I refuse. I refuse.
Yeah.
All right.
I am going to right this wrong tomorrow.
I'm
actually like I was feeling like shit like 2 hours ago, like just so tired.
Sure. Oh yeah,
I got my second wind. I might watch an episode.
Oh,
hey, there you go.
But
I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna watch episode 3 tonight.
These are better together. I get it.
Yeah, that's kind of. I feel like now that I know that like it's hard to carve 3 hours out and sit down and fucking watch TV.
So allow me to speak on the greatness that is Andor, and then we can.
I give you the floor, Mister Matomika.
So spoilers ahead, Brad. You know, do what you want with this. If you hear spoilers, I think you still will enjoy the content of what you get. So, episode 1 is literally entitled 1 year later, and that's where we're at. You know, we had talked about these arcs being, you know, years 2 to 5 before Rogue One. When Andor season 1, we got year 1. So we're. You know, we get Cassian's. You know, he's got a mission and he gets captured. Right. I'm going to kind of break down like these particular arcs.
It even flashes on the screen 1 year later, and then it flashes 4 years BBY.
Yes.
So it tells you you're 4 years before Yavin.
I love when they do that. I love when they tell you exactly where the fuck they're at. It's like, here we are. Like, okay, know we're at. So we see in Evan, I think you would have loved this right away. We see him infiltrating the fleet. I think it's like a fleet systems facility.
Sonar
yeah.
Fleet Systems. And I did that. I did the point thing, and Taylor was here with me. I was like, "That's where they make all the TIE fighters."
Yeah.
That's and that's even in the Force Awakens. Not Empire, but First Order time period. They're still making TIE fighters.
Mm-hmm.
So we finally get to see on TV in live action. Where they make TIE fighters. That was like. Definitely the highlight of the episode for me. That whole scene and the whole Sonar systems.
First off, I think that this episode starts off with a fucking bang, right?
Yeah.
And he gets an assistance from like this undercover rebel operative who's like terrified for her life. He gets through. He doesn't necessarily know how to fly the TIE Avenger. And like I loved seeing the struggle. I loved seeing him struggle with the TIE Avenger because it's
figuring out in real time.
Exactly, and it's not just like somebody picking a ship up and be like, "Oh, I know how to fly this," like we see in Star Wars all the time.
Right, and it is also more showing how this is an experimental ship. This is like one of the first ever produced of the Avenger, and it's a line obviously that never really goes anywhere because we don't see it in A New Hope. We don't see it really past this.
Right.
So it's an experimental line that never really gets off the ground, pun intended, I guess.
Maybe it's like those robots that Boston Dynamics did that ends up being toothless at the universe.
Can't wait to see him tomorrow.
Ends up being something different.
Maybe.
So then he eventually crashes on this jungle planet, and you probably weren't digging this, Evan, but I absolutely loved. He landed right in the middle of a conflict of this like rebel cell who's fighting amongst each other.
That he'd been supplying. He'd
Yes.
been helping them. They're too stupid to figure it out.
Yeah. Because it's like I love this because this is so grounded in a sense. It's like this shit would really happen. You would have these people battling, and this is kind of a commentary on humans right now, especially with geopolitical bullshit and political bullshit. It's like you dumbasses are slapping each other when you just can't unite on the greater good, right? So I love that kind of shit. And it's the remnants of the Maya Pie Brigade.
I don't know. That stuff I didn't really listen to that hard because I was like, I don't even know these people. I don't really care about these people.
This next thing I'm going to talk about from this first episode was my absolute favorite part of this episode. Hands down. Because I got goosebumps from the shot, that slow shot of the table as they move their way up to Krennic.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That was fucking gorgeous. Just to hear him talking again, it's just like he's such a great character. These episodes are tense already as it is. Like you feel the stakes.
I zoned out for a second because I was trying to find Jack. He ran outside and couldn't find him for a second. Is this Krennic?
Yes, Krennic.
Yeah, they drop him right in episode 1. Right.
What the fuck?
Yep.
Oh shit! Yeah, I'm watching the first one after this.
So and oh god, there's just so much in this scene. And I was saying, Brad, this is my favorite scene of episode 1. They have a slow shot up to Krennic, and he's talking to all these people at the table, and he's telling them, "Your family doesn't know about this. Your subordinates and your people, your bosses don't know about this. Everything in here is just us."
He's like, everyone in this room, and that's it.
Yep, and that's it. And Deidre's one of them, from season 1, our ISB officer. She is,
and Partagast too.
Yes, Partagast. Yep.
Yeah.
So, and they show, and then Krennic shows everybody Gorman.
This weird 10-minute long holographic or projection video that just lingers for way too long.
It was propaganda. The whole point of it was to basically show that they could get them to believe anything that they tell them, essentially, right? Because the whole speech, he ends up getting into what the calcite on Gorman that's vital is what Krennic is saying to the Empire.
Because the Emperor wants unlimited power. He says literally, the Emperor wants unlimited power. Mm-hmm. That got a chuckle. I was like, that's kind of funny, but okay.
That was, I mean, it had to be on purpose. Yeah. So Krennic is saying, and Krennic basically is getting the people in the room, like, figure out how we're basically going to do this. And in so many words, he said, if we got to go in there and kill him, then so be it. Figure out how to do it.
Because he even mentions how mining this planet is going to destroy the planet.
Fuck it up, yeah.
We see it in Fallen Order, all the mining they do on Ilum. it's that same kind of mining they're going to do to this planet. And they even mention it too. They're like, this is going to make the core unstable. It's going to destroy the planet. So do we kill these people? Do we help transport them off the planet? What do we do, basically?
So then this is just so
kill them all.
Kill them all. So we're just beautifully setting up the Gorman Massacre. I mean, not beautifully, but I mean, it's getting set up that way. Gorman Massacre isn't beautiful, but it's aiding to Mon Mothma, that bubble popping, right? That story, it grows before she's really even... Oh, I mean, she was on scene, but before we end up on Evan's second home of Shangri-La.
And this was the second thing that I was like, holy crap, I love this part too. And like the one shot too they did of following Mon Mothma talking to different people throughout that little post on Shangri-La. I guess her home.
Yeah, that was the Mothma estate. And Liza Ryan hates her even more now.
I love her estate, but do not like her.
Oh, it's gorgeous. That was gorgeous. I love the way that they showed Shangri-La. It looks really cool. So,
is that the first time we've ever seen it anywhere? At least outside of like comic books. You know, I think.
Like live action like that, yeah.
Lias hates her. How does Tom feel?
The Mothma estate's beautiful. That's what Tom feels. No, so they're on Shangri-La, and you see Mon Mothma like right away. She's really just grappling with her daughter about to get, 15-year-old daughter, right? She was 14 in season 1.
That's some crazy shit.
I know.
That's the most disturbing shit in Star Wars.
It's up there.
I'll give it it's close. If not but it's like these traditions, the arranged marriage, but they're also not like when her daughter and her daughter's like fiance, husband, whatever you want to call them, are together. They're not like together. They're not holding hands. They're not like, it's just like they're going along with this process, right? This is very much a political move for Mon to finance the rebellion, right? But then she finds out that all that is very much in trouble as she faces the financial scrutiny of Tay Kolma as he suffer losses, specifically due to rebel activity. So leading to tensions regarding funding said rebellion. So Luthen is at the party too. We meet him and he's in his, wig and stuff. So, they're starting to set that up. Evan, have I missed anything from episode 1? I think I hit the main points.
Was Mon Mothma surprised Luthen was there? Like he's not supposed to be there? Was that a thing?
Yes, she was. She at least made it seem that way when they saw each other. And I might be bleeding into some of the other episodes because, again, this is one long arc. His assistant, I can't remember her name. She was trying to get a hold of Cassie, and she kept telling Luthen, like, we haven't heard anything yet. And that was a running trope. And this whole thing was like, have we heard from Cassie yet? Have we heard?
Because in episode 1, Cassian's mission is steal the Avenger.
Yes.
To go to this jungle planet where these people are, to meet a new pilot, to give the pilot this Avenger. But that pilot had been killed by those people in the jungle. Mm-hmm.
And that lends itself right into episode 2 entitled Sigrona Tima.
Yeah.
Evan,
which is my new Chandrilan greeting I'm going to be using.
I called it. Who did I tell?
Oh my God, you texted me that yesterday.
Who did I tell? I said, this is Evan's new greeting.
This is Evan's new thing. I swear to God. I
said, I know exactly what's going to happen. And
give me all the Chandrilan lore. Keep giving me the lore.
Dude, even I loved this. This Chandrilan lore. Like, especially when they were...
Climb the mountain, and then you see the ancestors' little place on the mountain, and then like they cleanse you or whatever they said.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
gather in that lore.
It's so fucking cool. So we get in episode 2, Sigrana Tima, we get Andor. He's a prisoner now amongst this rebellion faction that are basically fighting over him and the TIE Avenger, and
they've only been stranded there for like 2 days too,
I know.
So it just shows you how stupid they are.
Yeah.
As characters, I'm not saying like the situation makes sense. They're just dumb people, and they're supposed to be dumb people. That's how they're written.
Yes, yeah. They're on Space Alabama planet, so it's just
well, it's not really when we see the reveal of what planet it is.
I know, yeah. So the Imperial, there's so Deidre in this episode specifically. Now we officially know she's under Krennic's command. She's assigned to oversee operations of the Gorman. And she's pretty reluctant, Evan, right?
Yeah, she doesn't want it.
Yeah. She doesn't want it. So we start to see the conflict with her.
And Partagas is like, look, you screwed up on that one Ferrex thing, so take this and don't complain. Which also is like, why did Krennic give a screw up this big mission? Like, what the heck?
I know.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there's a reason, but that seems like it's kind of bad writing to me, unless Krennic's supposed to not be smart. Because I think he's a pretty smart guy. So I don't know.
No, there's a reason. There's
got to be. I hope so.
I trust Gilroy. I think this is some of the best Star Wars writing in general. And if it misses, we'll get there. But so yeah, she's reluctant, and then we
sometimes in the corporate world you got to let someone fail.
Yeah, that too. So we find out that she has a very more than tight relationship with Cyril Karn.
Yeah, that was like, okay, I guess they're together now.
They are,
like,
yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
that was weird.
Really? Why do you think so? I mean, I thought it was pretty. Because
he was some creepy serial killer stalker guy, and it's like, okay, I guess they're just together.
But they were also kind of made for each other, right? Like they were kind of just like they're both kind of weird in a sense, you know.
I don't know. I'm not gonna let the side story of two weird characters being together ruin the show for me. But it was just weird. But like I said, I'm not gonna focus on it because it's goofy.
I didn't think it was weird just because I was expecting them two to end up together. It just was like they're just evenly matched. I think the actor does a really good job who plays Cyril Karn.
Oh yeah.
And I love Deidre's scene in the third episode when Cyril's mom comes over and she lays a smackdown on her.
Oh, I got to see that.
This is what you got to fucking do to see your son. Essentially, I was like, okay, like she just laid down the law with her.
Cyril clearly has mother issues.
He does.
You know,
he was probably beating on
fill
Kajimi.
Those issues. Yeah.
So and there's tensions on Mina Rao, and we go to the planet Mina Rao where Bix, Brasso, and Willman, they're seeing
and B2.
B2 emo, yeah. They're seeing the Imperial Fist being basically crushing the planet, right? There's audits, there's people coming into checks, and there's an impending audit that threatens their safety. And Bix becomes the target of unwanted attention from an Imperial officer. So here's where I will go on my soapbox, and it kind of leads into Episode 3 Harvest. So
yeah, I can imagine where it goes because I won't, like we said, I haven't seen Episode 3. But this guy was coming on to Bix and being a creep as all creeps. So I'm going to imagine Episode 3, he does some creepy things.
I'm going to put it as blatant as I possibly can. And I don't know if I say a trigger warning. I know some of this shit can really fuck with people, but he tries to rape Bix in Episode 3.
Yeah, I can believe it. He was nasty
what
dude.
What the fuck? Seriously?
Yes. And I mean, nobody gets like there's nothing explicit. There's nothing like, you know, nobody's naked. There's no scenes like that. But it's, and Bix even says, Bix fights him off rather quickly. She kills him, hits him with a wrench twice.
Good.
And then
creep deserved it.
And then
only twice. You should be fucking castrated and shot in the head.
Yeah, right. I mean, this was after like a battle back and forth. And then another, like, one of the Imperial driver like looked, and he was saying something, yelling back to Bix because the lieutenant had come out and like fallen, and Bix said her line was, "He tried to rape me," and just kind of saying like that's why I hit him. So it's like they didn't even imply, like they were implying it heavily, and then as it was happening, she said
rape in a Star Wars show.
So my personal soapbox is I hate that shit in media. I feel a certain way.
That makes me uncomfortable already.
Yep, I feel a certain way about it.
We have daughters, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah. I mean, there's that's a layer on top of multiple other layers for me personally.
They're just like lines. The scene in the second episode, I think, was where you stop. It's just show he's a creepy guy who's way doing some bad stuff, and he's an Imperial guy. We get it. They're creepy bad dudes.
I had the worst.
Is it weird that I'm less excited about it now?
No,
that's not weird.
No, it was still
just they went too far with this creep.
Yeah, I would say that it was too far. It's a stylized choice to tell a story. I would never tell a story that way.
Yeah,
I would never tell.
Yes.
It's getting people talking because I'm not the only one who has these feelings.
And we don't disagree with the message.
No.
Obviously, that is a horrible thing.
The Empire's
of course not.
awful.
But like, you don't want to see that with your escapism.
Yep, exactly. I don't want it in Star Wars.
Exactly.
And it's just, I just don't want it in Star Wars. So, I think this arc was fantastic, perfect open. Because. Cassian ends up returning, right? We have to talk about episode 3 anyway.
Yeah, so at the end of episode 2, he flies away from the jungle people in his TIE Avenger.
Correct.
And we see the planet this is a spoiler for episode 2 here. The planet they were on is Yavin 4, I guess it's a moon, Yavin 4.
Mm-hmm.
Not a planet.
Not a planet, yeah. Good catch.
So I'm going to imagine, is this how they kind of get the idea, hey, we should put a base on this planet?
I would think maybe. So, because of all those like crazy animals, like that one that came through and killed a few people.
Yeah, and just eats a guy whole.
Maybe that's why they go to the forest moon of Andor.
Hey,
yeah, it could be.
Look at that, Andor just plugging away there. So Cassian escapes, obviously returns to Mina Rao with the TIE Avenger, and when he shows up, and I know you guys haven't seen this yet, but I think they dropped this clip, and when he shows up into the atmosphere and like comes down to the planet, like the stormtroopers are like, oh, what's that doing here? And then they just watch a missile come their way and they blow up.
Yeah, that was in the trailer.
Yeah. So the Imperials are cracking down, and then Brasso.
Oh, dude, is it the same missile thing that he uses to murk that one guy in episode 1? The snowtrooper with the rocket launcher?
No.
Dude, that was brutal. I was like, holy crap. We're just murdering a guy with like a... Yeah, that was brutal.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
So, spoiler alert, but Brasso is killed during an escape attempt.
Oh, no.
Bix... Calm down over there. Bix, after resisting an assault from... We said that. I'm just rereading my notes. So Andor eventually rescues Bix, right? And Willman, and they cut the planet, right? That's the end of the episode with their arc. My favorite part of this episode, though, Evan, it's more on Chandrila. It's more Mon Mothma. And it's the wedding and it's the back end of it. There's something in this. It's so impactful, and it's like I felt this so strong. So it's just Mon Mothma and her daughter Lita, and they're standing like right before they're about to like walk out of the like bride room or like this holding area before Lita's like about to walk down the aisle. Right, they're about to do the ceremony at the wedding. And Mon's looking at her daughter, and Lita doesn't say anything to her. Mon's like, she starts talking to her. She's like, my mother was drunk when she gave me the speech and she was talking to me. And about this, she's like, and I never understood it until right now. And then Mon went up to say, because you could tell she was so fucking hesitant to sell her daughter off like this and have her get this arranged marriage. She gave her daughter a way out. She told her, she's like, we don't have to do all this. We can go out there and tell them we're not going to follow tradition. We can walk out of this. You don't have to do this. Like Mon was giving her that open. And
so why'd she set it up then?
Because she was desperate to get this money, and she found out what's happening, and her money is at risk. And then she's realizing the weight of her political decisions is too strong here. So she goes to her daughter and say, "Let's just don't even do this. Like fuck it." And then her daughter looks at her.
Man.
Her daughter looks at her and goes, she's like, I wish you were drunk. And then they're just like, oh, yeah. And it's just like,
been there.
It's just.
Well, they are, like, the daughter already doesn't like Mon. Like, in season 1, they kind of show how much they don't like each other. I mean, Mon Mothma still loves her daughter, but the daughter just, like, treats Mon Mothma like crap.
And then this is such a fucking cool, like, trope to show. Like, they showed Mon Mothma diving into madness. So as they walked out and as they got done with the ceremony, Mon just started drinking. She's like shot after shot, and she just started dancing with everybody else. And it was just like this, like there was just like Chandrilan dance music in the background. And it was you could just see it on her face. Like, she's like, I'm in it now. Like I fucked up. And she just kept drinking to forget her troubles. It was just, it's so well done.
Please tell me that Sandstorm from that band.
Yes. I mean, somebody's got to dub that, right?
So, if not, we know our next viral meme.
The music in episode 1 and 2, especially on Chandrila, has been awesome. I can't wait for that to be actually released, so it can be background music in the lounge.
They've released the songs from episode 1 to 3 already.
Ooh, all right. YouTube it is.
That's my Andor pitch. I loved it, except for the sexual assault.
Yeah. There was a scene,
I think, if you were like, my favorite part was sexual assault, we'd have a problem.
I would agree.
I think there was a scene in episode 2, maybe, between Mon Mothma and her daughter, too, where they, like, Mon Mothma's daughter and the groom get in, like, a fight or something. So Mon Mothma goes to, like, comfort her daughter. Mm-hmm. And you can see Mon Mothma's, like, apologizing. She's like, I'm sorry. But to the daughter, you know, it just means, you know, I'm sorry for this fight and what's happening. But for Mon Mothma, she's meaning, I'm sorry that, like, I'm screwing your whole life over.
Right.
She's saying, she's apologizing for what she's done to her daughter.
Right.
But she doesn't tell her daughter in that scene. So it sounds like in episode 3, does she tell her daughter, like, I'm selling you off?
I don't
basically
believe that she, like, deliberately says it, but she's
just
basically...
that's still tough. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's basically like, we don't have to do this, fuck it. And her daughter's like, nah, fuck off, mom. So, and I've only seen these episodes once. I do want to watch them again, but I do want to also say, like, when it comes to that part in episode 3 I don't like, I'm skipping right over that. I'm not watching it.
Yeah. And I mean,
it's
it just
wild
shows
they allowed that. That is, I mean,
it's not excessive, like this again. There's
explicit?
No, like, it's not explicit. That's the word I'm looking for. But
but still like
this could be so upsetting.
Was there
for somebody
a
to
warning
see.
or anything before episode 3?
Not that I recall. No.
Oh wow.
So they'll put a warning about Pinocchio, but not about the sexual assault in Andor. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
They put a warning.
Jesus Christ.
They put a warning before.
This guy smoked a cigarette.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No.
This woman almost gets raped. We're just going to let it fly. That's crazy.
They put a warning
Bob Iger company.
before, was it Kenobi?
Yeah.
Before
when we saw Reva, the scene with Reva,
because that was around time of a tragedy involving children.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, anything that involves children dying is a tragedy. It doesn't have to be a hot topic.
No, right.
I mean, Jesus Christ! Like,
I know. I know.
The inconsistency is what drives me nuts.
Yep.
This is heavy. Andor sounds good. I'm gonna go. I think because we're going to Blizzard Beach tomorrow. I think I'm gonna just say fuck it, and I'm gonna watch these episodes back to back. I think I need to.
You got to stay up though. You got to watch them all. Make sure you're committed because they're good. You got to be focused.
You know what? Committed. I'm gonna do it.
All right, there he is. He's committed.
I'm doing
I feel bad.
As soon as this episode of the show's over, I'm gonna go do this.
Yeah. I feel bad for Bix, the character, man. She's been through
oh my god
the worst things imaginable,
dude.
In season 1 and now this in season 2, like dang.
She really has, and there was hinting at it in the first episode. Was like she was on PTSD, just kind of taking a nap.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I want to take a nap.
No, you've committed Andor.
You can't take a nap yet. You got to wait 3 hours.
1 a.m. I've waited 13. What's 3? You know?
Exactly. Like you said, the time's going to pass either way.
Either way. I could be asleep and happy, or I could be draining myself mentally and physically. What am I going to do?
You're draining yourself physically?
Drain it.
What do you? Well, hey, Kyle's mom is in town.
Oh, see, I thought so.
Yeah.
So, I'm off my Andor soapbox. Evan, you seemed a lot more excited about season 2 than you have season 1 about Andor.
Oh yeah. The 3 scenes not scenes, but the 3 things I really liked from these 3 episodes are better than anything in season 1. So yes,
that's crazy. I heard from a guy that I like pay attention to his opinions. It's John Roca. He's been around forever. He was on the Collider Live back in the day. He said that there is an episode of Andor that is the greatest episode in the history of television. He didn't say what episode it was, but he has said, and he is I don't want to say a Star Wars hater, but he's been pretty critical about everything that's come out since Disney acquired them. So for him to say that, we might be onto something special here.
maybe.
I think so.
That is a crazy statement. That it's the greatest thing in the history of television.
It's a different way to tell a Star Wars story, and
I like it. I like the setup of this. I'm sold. I'm gonna step and sacrifice my physical health for this.
Thank you, Brad. We appreciate that.
It's
And
what I
next
do for the
week,
show.
Tom and Evan will take over for the rest of the time. So,
Yeah.
You guys got anything else? I'm all Andored out.
I'm about to go all in.
Yeah, I got to watch
excited.
episode 3 right now as soon as we hit end, and then after that, probably go back to crying about not being in Tokyo.
That makes sense. That checks. Well, guys, Brad, take us home. That's Andor's 1 through 3. We're going to continue Andor next week.
Thank you for listening. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Until then, stay safe. May the Force be with you.
Always Entabuite.
Rise, Jedi Knight.